Alrighty, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be VOD reviewing Cam and his solo Cash Cup performance. Now this isn't going to be one of those 3-hour, 4-hour long VOD reviews. I'm going to try to really shorten this down and try to get it to about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll really see. I don't know how long it is actually going to be, but anyway, I'll be right back with the first little insight on what Cam is doing and what we can learn from it. Alrighty, I found this was super interesting and definitely something a lot of you guys might not know. But Cam comes in here and he breaks the mirrors in all of the bathrooms here. Now that is on purpose, and that is because there is a bug that somehow the mirrors in the bathroom makes controller players lose aim assist, and it makes it so when you open a chest it actually glitches outside of the wall. I don't know how, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, how does a mirror mess up aim assist? But that's a bug and it exists. So if you know that there are mirrors in your landing spot and you are on controller, then make sure you break them. On the flip side, if you're a mouse and keyboard and you're hiding in a bathroom or making a rat play and you see a mirror on the wall, don't break it and just abuse the fact that you know that anyone who is on controller won't have aim assist if they push you in this room or even in the building. So I thought this was really interesting. He actually opts to drop his gold SMG for the hammer. I think that's just because having the hammer is really nice. I mean, you do kind of have the spray potential just in case you do need a second weapon to switch to. It's a lot more reliable than the AUG or the Ranger for hip firing, and you can get surge with it. You can spray, you can crack people. I mean, you can do, it's basically a weapon to do everything. It doesn't really have a section where it really dominates. It doesn't dominate the spraying part of the meta, and it doesn't dominate the surge part of the meta, but it's still a really all-around good weapon to use, especially in solos. Even though I just had the little rant about the hammer, he does end up switching to the AUG, and kind of the drawbacks of that is that you really do need to hit a very hard shot with your striker early on and then switch to the AUG, especially if you're in the box. Like, you really need to do that. Let's say that Owl and Cam fight and Cam ends up hitting him for, 170 or 160. 2 AUG shots, I mean, that's probably going to hit if they're right in each other's face, so that's good. But if he hits him for like a 60 or an 80, then he's not going to finish him off with the AUG. So what he'll need to do is, first off, be aware that, okay, I hit him for so little, I can't just switch to a weapon and jump in his face. I'm probably going to need to play kind of more box fight oriented and not actually dive in and spray just yet. I'm going to have to go for another peek with my shotgun and wait for that delay to actually stop. Alrighty, so here's a look of where Cam has decided to base up on first zone. I think it's a very good position. He does have some natural elevation here, and he does have a lot of kind of avenues to hold people from. A lot of people are going to be wanting to rotate through here because all of these teams probably want to rotate through dead side and avoid the teams that are already established on the tilted hill, which means they're going to swing down and loop up. There we go. There's English. So like all these teams probably didn't land anywhere around here. They probably landed over here or over here and just worked their way down to actually go up. And this is a good spot because he can hold everyone on his kind of south side. North side is a lot more established, so you probably wouldn't be able to get as many tags over here. But the good news is that the rotate is pretty easy. I mean, if zone pulls more to the middle, you can just hug kind of all of these elevations, break line of sight here, and then he's basically in. So it's pretty easy of a rotate here, and it's a very good position by him to base up at. Alrighty, so the next zone pulled over here, and if you remember, he was here, and it was a pretty free rotate. Dead side is pretty easy to get to. He just ran down and then in like this. Now he's going to run here and end up absolutely frying type shots here. So he could key this right now, okay? First off, he knows that just by how many shots he hit, this guy was only at 150 when he got cracked. So he's already pretty shambles on heals and everything. But he decides right around here that he's like, okay, I'm not going to fight that. And I think that's really smart. I think the only scenario where you should take a fight in a zone like this, especially in like a lobby filled with good players, is when you're on like the super dead side. So if you're like over here or like fighting one of these 3 teams here where they're like no one else around. So he just decides, okay, I'm just going to leave that. I know this guy is weak. I'll save that information for later. And I'm going to base up in a better position because Surge is about to start, or the warning will start, and then people might get really antsy with that and maybe try to key me or whatever. Alrighty, next zone pulled, and I'll mention this super quickly, but we can just tell by his position that sure, he could try to rotate in. I mean, it'd be better if he was over here, but he's not, so he's probably going to have to stay in this position or swing left and like slide down and maybe try to break LOS and try to get like somewhere here, or he can just stay where he's at and actually hold everybody on this side over here. Now, this is a better play if you need surge. This is a better play if you don't want to risk the actual rotate in. And overall, I would just say stay here and hold everyone and maybe see even get a few eliminations over here or something along the lines of that just to better your position for the end game. Alrighty, we're actually going to start watching from here just because I am curious to see how he's going to make this rotate. I'll take a little peek at it right now and see really what he can do. I mean, once he gets like, he could white line it. Once you get to here, it's kind of free, kind of scary. You can swing to the left down here. You have to probably block off your back a fair amount for the kids behind you, and then you could easily swing around, build a bit here, and get in somewhere along here. Now, if you went right instead of this mountain, that could also work. So he gets around here, he swings right, and then he would, I think it's a little bit more scuffed to get in from the right just because Mason and Zeus are a lot closer than Quixie, Lull, and whoever else is over here. But if you went right, then he'll probably have to end up boxing up somewhere around here. He's probably gonna get lobbied if he goes in between them. So maybe he boxes up like right here. He waits for, who's this again, Mason to go in, and then he follows Mason in and tries to get like here. I think left is definitely the play though. But let's see what he does. Is that actually Somerset over there? I thought she just made her first round 2 like today. So he's gonna get tagged up. Doesn't really matter that much. He's got a grapple glove. I didn't even notice he had that. I don't think I would have grappled gloved. I mean, when people hear a glove, they just like instantly look at it and try to beam it. I know I do. It's like, oh, basically I just want to fucking grief everyone with a grapple glove because I don't have one. And I do that a lot, and I think a lot of people are along the same way. I think he used 2 charges already and he's barely gotten like anywhere. He's probably going to sit a bit, get some surge on people. There's a lot of people looking at him. Now he has to swing right because all these guys are already established. Prize, Somerset. And don't think he's going to fight him. But yeah, now he's in, so I'll be right back. So zone pulled super close to him, and this is a very easy play that he can do with the grapple gloves. And he's probably just going to sit where he is for a little bit and just get tags on everyone around him. I mean, he does have height over all of these teams, and any of these players that don't have grapple gloves will actually need to run this rotate in. So basically what's going to happen, all of these guys are going to run, then everyone here is probably going to look back down at everyone who's running in, and then he can shoot from the back, maybe get a few eliminations, get some tags, and then either once zone is on him or whenever he wants to, he just grapples once and probably going to base up somewhere over here on Davies builds or connected to this guy over here. Let's just see what he does. There's 240 above. Barely anyone needs to die. Cracks Shore, poor soul. Now he's just going to grapple in. He's right here on edge. Easy look back so you can find any eliminations. Very common for the grapple plays or when you have movement like this. Alrighty, we're going to watch the rest of this end game from this point of view here. I think he's saving his grapple shots because he does have some left. I don't know if he's going to take this or slide and then sprint his way in because there's the fun replay bug. But I don't really know what he did to get in there, but now he's in on the edge of zone. A lot of people above us. He definitely needs a refresh. He's definitely low on materials. He's actually chilling on ammo and shield. It wouldn't be that bad to find a refresh and maybe switch out your AUG for an SMG or a hammer, but we'll see what he does. Good on surge. I mean, only 3 people need to go down. Let's turn down my sound a bit because I feel like it's a little loud. Just seeing where zone goes, because if it pulls back, then that means he can play a little bit more passive and look for a refresh with the kids around him. Or if it pulls far, then he knows that he's going to have to, you know, get a leg on and get movement. So if it pulls far across, you can either get to front side now, wait for zone to be on him and then grapple, or wait for zone to be on him now and then grapple. I mean, he gets an elimination here, so he must probably land in a box maybe. Goes here, jumps up, gets the sidewall on whoever is on his layer, Finds an elimination here somehow. This guy hops in. He's low. Very good at it. I mean, really, he could have shot back, but it's kind of at the point now where by the time Cam recognizes that our boy, Quincy, what's his name? Quixie. By the time Quixie was hopping in, his shotgun was already like coming out. Like right here, he's fumbling with the edits. I mean, he would probably shoot and then switch to his SMG and kill Cam. So Cam does a beautiful edit actually to block the shot, and then 100, and then he's basically dead in the box. Going to do a safe peek, he's swinging around, done deal. Gets a nice little refresh. Somerset, or fake Somerset, is trying to... This makes sense. Usually when you're solos and you end up fighting in endgame, other people who need a refresh, I mean, this is a good play. Here, the fight in and think, okay, I'm going to go fight this as well. Third party it in endgame, just because there's a good chance that Cam could be low, especially if this fight seemed to have dragged out. So let's say Teo was the one that pushed him, and Cam and Quincy had this like big box fight, and there's like 4 or 5 shotgun shots and spraying and like cracks or like something like that happening. Then Teo would know they're both low, and whoever wins the fight, he could potentially hop in and kill them. But in this case, Cam is in a really good position, so it's whatever. But he does get another elimination here. Only has 2 grapple shots left, so he's probably just saving them for this rotate. You get in. There's 1. There's 2, and he's gonna land right there. Good spot. Now he's looking at height. Let's see how height is looking. Are we going to have to fly ourselves on over? We have Fatch on height, and he does look pretty shambles. I mean, he is building in metal, but it's not really like reinforced. Like if this was like double ramping up, so not double ramp, but like floor wall here, then it would be a little bit more scary, and I don't know if I would shoot it out, but someone else actually shoots him out. So he's building a bit, and then Cam cranks up and probably takes height from Fatch, I'm guessing. They're fighting. He's just trying to cone them, find an angle, still fighting. Fatch could potentially kind of chop this. So really what you want to do when you're taking height like this is that you do want to be careful of the chop, because when you're cranking up, you're not really thinking about, you know, reinforcing everything, because this isn't really only held up by 2 things: this wooden wall here, and then like this metal stair, or even like these metals back here. So you really want to be careful with that. You don't want to give your opponent any time to think about the chop and potentially look for it. And then Fatch does some wild play, and he's probably gonna end up dying here. Now Cam's on height. Nope, he gets a kill on the Doom guy. Definitely a little bit shambles. People should be looking up at him. He is pretty high up in the air. He needs to definitely connect pretty soon. We'll see how he ends up winning this game here. Good play by Jamper who armored this, even though Cam hasn't even looked at him yet. 6 builds. You'll need to either find something here, drop down for a refresh, or something along the lines of that. Or he just keeps spraying, and hopefully the lobby ends up, you know, killing themselves out. So to 4 people left. Nevify definitely looks like the scariest. I mean, we can see his health, but he's also kind of building ahead more. One build. I'd probably use it to get down a bit, maybe a stair. I guess see where zone pulls. It kind of pulls to the right. They're all fighting down there, which is really good for him. Good chances something's gonna happen, like one of these guys will kill Pump, and then maybe Pump will trade back and hit Peterbot for like 60, and then Nevify will hop in, and then Cam cleans up. Gets Nevify, then looks back and probably ends up killing Peterbot. So yeah, that's it for game number 1. I'll be back with the next significant game and then do the same thing. Alrighty, we're back again with another game here where Cam ended up winning. He won the last 2 games, and he won the first game that we just watched. There isn't really much to talk about, so I'm not sure that I'll do the next win as well, because really all he's doing is looting Rocky, hitting as much wood and brick as he can. Doesn't really stop for anything unless it's a god brick or a tree. And he's really just prioritizing his metal when he's in Rocky. Then when he leaves pretty early compared to other POIs. It's good because first off, he's in a mid-map location, so he can easily get to a very strong position in zone because he's in that mid-map position, and he leaves early enough before other mid-map teams or even other split teams actually end up rotating in. So he gets set up, established in a really good position, and he's able to take all the teams that have to still rotate in. So that's really good, and he's able to do that because he prioritizes kind of like, I want to say like big material farming items or like structures. So he'll farm god bricks, you know, big trees. He'll get his metal, as much metal as he can get in the POI. Hit the crash blimps over here, cap out, and then when he's rotating, then he's, you know, going to the god brick, going to like the big tree, and then capping out his, you know, wood and brick while he's rotating in, and that just kind of speeds up the actual rotate process because he doesn't do it at the POI, he does it in one go, so it's kind of like multitasking. Alrighty, let's see how Cam ends up getting a refresh only with 4 builds left. So we should know how he should be aiming to get his refresh is probably on a team or a player on backside of zone, because often those are the players that are the weakest. Like if he can find Trashy, that'd be really good. But Qual ends up being a little bit aggressive towards him. That makes sense. He's in wood. But he should look for one of these shambled teams back here on the backside of zone. So he's just looking around for people. He sees rituals. Okay, what am I going to do? I have 3 builds, 2 builds. I have to really find something here. Sees Nevify on low ground. Might try to sneak in. Nope, he just farms the tree. He's just playing super placement here, waiting probably for the Shamble kids to get to him so we can find his refresh. Please don't lag so we can see it. He probably, but maybe gets it on Macwood. Nope. Shadow probably. See. Gets kill on Shadow. Just Siphon Mats. I mean, that's expected when you see something like that, when Shadow is like kind of not built in, fighting for a refresh. You know you're going to get Siphon Mats. But that's fine because in these solo end games, that's really all you need to keep moving forward is just Siphon Mats. It's very smart to keep farming up anything that he can. Definitely wants to avoid the bushes because you don't have aim assist in bushes. Faces up in hard materials. Good play. He ends up winning this game, so I'm really curious to see that. Last game that he won was pretty understandable. He just took height, got a lot of the zones. He still has a grapple glove. He might be saving that for a height play. Not really sure. I mean, this guy I think is the only one on height. So I guess he probably takes height for free. Onyx is 1. Very good mantle. Shot this guy right through his stare. You'd love to see that. Now he's on height. Has an SMG. Full grapple glove. He's chilling. That's how he's going to win. Now, the SMG, obviously a lot better than the AUG, so he's actually going to be able to get some of these eliminations without dropping down. Very good on materials. His game to win. Qua is literally 1, and Cold's fighting in Storm. So the play, of course, is to focus the guy that's in Storm. He doesn't know the situation of Cold. Cold's probably weaker, trying to play for second place. So he focuses the guy in the zone here, Qua. Gets him low enough, and Cold will probably end up dying on his own or having to run out of zone. Now, if you saw Cold kind of looking like he was working his way up, like he was going for a fucking Sprite reboot play to kill you at height, then you might want to focus him. But right now, the guy in zone is probably the best option. You can also hear it, so he kills him, and then that's it. Cold is able to clutch up the points for second place, and he's far as anything in Storm. I like how he prioritizes the mats here. Very smart. And there's Cold trying to heal up as much points as he can get. I mean, Cold would have to like pull off like the miracle play to be able to even to eliminate Cam right now. His play is to shoot out height because he doesn't know where Cold is. I mean, when people are in Storm like this, you definitely don't want to have any structures like this above you. Because hypothetically, Cold could have went up through here and be like right here trying to pop these shields. And then took the height from Cam and maybe have won it. Probably not, because Cam's 200 and Cold's like 1 shot. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Cam is an absolute demon. Kind of what his game plan is to land at a mid-map location, Rocky Reels, loot up as much metal as he can get there, farm his wood and his brick on the way while he's rotated, and then for all of the zones, he really plays kind of like the typical grapple play, where you sit and you wait for zone to be on your ass, and then you grapple forward, sit and look back at all the poor souls who weren't lucky enough to have a grapple glove like you do, or He grapples early when people are, basing up more, going higher because they just pulled zone or whatever. Grapples in early and then holds everybody. It's pretty common. It's a very, we've seen it so much with the Spider-Mans and a bunch of other movement items. Launch pads, you launch pad in and then look back and hold kids. Like, it's a very common move. And yeah, he just played it really well. He definitely got some zones. Very good, game plan early on to get in a power position. Use that to get surge. Use that to rotate from another spot. I think that's overall what won him in the game, was his grapple gloves and kind of that early game positioning, and as well as knowing when to take height and when not to. So overall, Cam is an amazing solo player. I'm excited to see what he does today in this solo Cash Cup. And if he dominates again, maybe I'll do another VOD review. Ideally, I would really like to see somebody without grapple gloves win, because we can learn a lot more from them, because, they're not really fully relying on grapple gloves. But who knows? They might bring back Spider-Man or some crazy fucking movement item next season. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have anyone you want me to VOD review, please let me know. If you have any ideas for videos, please let me know. I'm up to do pretty much anything. But yeah, cheers.